Good evening everyone. Welcome to Abhiram IAS Academy. This is Pavani Reddy Palla. I'm here to discuss all the important articles in the Hindu newspaper as part of our daily chronicle series. So let us start a discussion with the first important article in the Hindu newspaper. In the opinion column, we have headlines, President's Rule and the Road Ahead. Okay, so it says the central intervention in Manipur is crucial but insufficient step to restore normalcy, trust and the state's infrastructure power. So this article is talking about the recent Manipur violence and the president's rule imposition by the center on the Manipur state. So let us go back to all the important details of the Manipur violence. Manipur violence is basically an ethnic disturbance. Okay, ethnic violence between major community with the minor community. So we have the Meiteis who are the major community in the Manipur. They are Hindus who are dominant in number. So more than 50%, around 53% of the Meiteis are the Hindus who live in the Imphal Valley, which is the capital of the Manipur. Okay, and the Kuki-Zo and Nagas are the minor communities who are basically tribals. Okay, so what is the issue then? What is the controversy? So the Meiteis who are in majority in the Manipur have been asking for the ST status. Why? Because Manipur being a hilly area geographically, it is predominant by tribals. So 90% of all the land rights will be given to the tribals. So this community being the Hindus, majority community, they are not able to access the majority of lands in Manipur. Okay, in April 2023, the High Court of the Manipur has given a direction to the state government favoring the Meiteis demand for the ST status. Okay. So consequently on 3rd May 2023, the violence or the ethnic disturbances have been started in the Manipur. Okay. So we have the disturbance of law and order, we have the tribal killings, we have tribal protest, we have armed rebellions which are killing the other ethnic groups. Okay, so we have curfews, we have internet access has been banned, and there is also harassment on women. So we can see all the types of the violence in the Manipur based on this ST demand of the Meiteis. Okay, so what was the response of the government? The response of the government was a deployment of the armed security forces. Okay, so number 2, there was humanitarian crisis. So there was attempts to deal the humanitarian crisis in the Manipur. So what is meant by humanitarian crisis? When the large population in a region is affected by safety threats or health issues, etc., then it is called as health crisis. Okay, so COVID pandemic is a humanitarian crisis. In India, air pollution, water pollution is a humanitarian crisis. So Manipur is being ruled by the BJP government. So BJP government under the Biren Singh. So few days back, he has submitted his resignation to the governor of the state. So after his resignation, the central government, which is again led by the BJP government, has not able to find a CM candidate for the Manipur state. So eventually they have imposed the president rule. So what is meant by president rule? It is nothing but suspension of the state government and direct rule of the central government through governor is called as the president rule. Which article of the Indian Constitution deals with the president rule? It is nothing but article 356 of Indian Constitution deals with it. This topic is important for us in the prelims. Okay, so what are the grounds for imposition? Number 1, we have the failure of constitutional machinery. Okay, so it can be the failure of the law and order or any kind of disturbances etc. will come under the constitutional machinery, and non-compliance with the union's direction. So whenever the state's government are rejecting the orders of the central government, okay, then that will be the ground for imposition of the president rule. So generally these grounds of violation will be misused by the central government if the state governments are having opposition party rule. Okay, so we'll go into the further details. So what is the procedure? So first of all, the governor will write to the president saying about the need for imposition of the president rule. Okay, then the president will issue a proclamation that we are going to impose the president rule in particular state, and then after that proclamation it must be approved by the Indian Parliament. What is meant by Parliament? Parliament primarily consists of the Lok Sabha, that is the People's House, the Rajya Sabha, that is the upper house, and the President. Okay, so after the President's proclamation, it should be passed in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha with a simple majority. So what is meant by simple majority? Let's say the people who attended and voted in Lok Sabha be 400. Okay. So in this 400 votes, if we get 50% of votes plus 1, that is a simple majority. So if we get 201 votes, the imposition of the president rule, then it is approved by the Lok Sabha. In the similar way, it should be done for the Rajya Sabha with a simple majority. Okay, so simple majority, you have to remember this. In the prelims point of view, simple majority is nothing but 50% majority present and voted by the MPs, members of parliament. Okay, so this is the simple majority. So what can be the duration or extension period to the president's rule? So it can be extended up to 3 years. 3 years of time. Okay, but for every 6 months there should be again approval of the parliament. So the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, again with the simple majority, they have to approve the extension for every 6 months. So every 6 months up to 3 years there can be imposition of the president rule. Okay, what will be the effects of the president rule? Number one, the governor on behalf of the President of India will rule the state. So will conduct the daily administration and other relative functions on the name of the president. Governor will do it. Next, the state legislature will either be dissolved or suspended. Okay, so it will either get dissolved or suspended. It won't be in function. So then who will do the works of the assembly? It is the parliament which makes the legislations on behalf of the assembly. Okay, so the parliament, any required legislation which need to be done in that particular state, for example Manipur now, all the legislations will be done by the parliament, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Then what is the status of the High Court? The status of High Court will remains functional. There won't be any impact on the High Court functioning. Okay, so these are the effects of the President rule. What is the criticism? Okay, so criticism is that it is the most misused article by the central government for political reasons. So whenever the central and the state governments are having opposite political parties in rule, then there will be a chance of misuse whenever the tensions between them increases. So then the center will try to display its power through the president rule. Through which article? 356. Okay, next. So it destabilizes the elected state governments. See, we have to remember one thing. The state governments are elected by the people, right? Through the electoral college. MLAs, members of legislative assembly, are directly elected by the people. So it means, so whenever we are imposing the president rule, it means we are not giving importance to the people's opinion who are choosing their own MLAs. So this will be very important negative impact on the world's largest democracy. So this will be a very huge negative impact on the world's largest democracy. Okay. Next, governor's biases in recommending the president rule. So whenever there is some type of differences between the chief minister and governor of a particular state, it can be ideological differences or it can be any sort of issues between them, then the governor is biased towards recommending the president rule. So these are important facts you have to remember relating to this Manipur violence and the president rule. Okay. And the next important article we have in the editorial relating to the India and Qatar partnership. Okay. So yesterday the Emir of Qatar has visited New Delhi, right? And he has met the Prime Minister of India. So what is the significance of Qatar in relation to India? So we have the huge amount of remittances coming from Qatar. We have the Indian population working as nurses and other paramedical forces in the Gulf region. So who will be sending their money to the country, to their own country, that is India. So we have huge amount of remittances. So thereby we have positive forex, foreign reserves. And next, it is having a major geo-strategic role as it is part of the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council. And also, it is having relationship with the Talibans. It is having relationship with Hamas, who are a militia. Okay, so that is why this will play a very important role as part of the geo-strategic role with respect to India and West Asia. So, India's 45% of LNG needs are fulfilled through the Qatar. Okay, so Qatar provides us the 45% of the LNG, natural gas, to India. Okay, so that is why it is very important. Next, we have the bilateral trade between India and Qatar, approximately $28 billion. Okay, so which is again set to double by 2030. So doubling of the bilateral trade between India and Qatar is also one important point which is critical to India. Okay, and next is the Qatar's investment. So Qatar is going to invest at least $10 billion in India's infrastructure and manufacturing sector. Okay, so this is again a very important for our India for the economic growth and stability. Okay, so these investments, and also we have the double taxation avoidance pact signed between India and Qatar. And we have another important role of Qatar in the GCC. So to have a strategic partnership with the GCC, what is GCC? The Gulf Cooperation Council. So India and GCC partnership, Qatar is going to mediate for us. So that is why Qatar's relationship towards India is very important. See, this thing is very important for our international relations. Okay, so please make sure that you are remembering all the important points regarding the India and Qatar. Okay, next, another important editorial we have in the Hindu newspaper today is related to the Russia and US talks. Okay, so for restoration of their ties between the US and Russia and to come to a settlement of the Ukrainian war. So these two issues are being discussed by the editor. Okay, so India and US being the Cold War adversaries, Cold War. Now these countries are trying to reset their relationships. Okay, and also we have important thing to be noticed is Trump soon is going to meet his counterpart Putin for the resolving of the war. So, and one important point to be noted as per the views of the editor is that Ukraine has not been asked to participate in the talks. So, according to the editor, he says that Ukraine and the Europe, who are the great supporters of US, should be involved in the settlement issue. Then only a holistic settlement can be achieved for the end of Russia and Ukrainian war. Okay, so this is some important news regarding the international relations. So next important article is related to the quality of water in the Mahakumbh Mela. Okay, so with the headlines, Sangam water is fit for drinking, says the Uttar Pradesh CM. So what he says, Yogi dismisses the concerns of the fecal bacteria in the Mahakumbh site. He says water released after purification. CPCB report has been flagged high levels of coliform in the water. So the Central Pollution Control Board report says that we have fecal coliform, which is a type of bacteria present at high levels in the Prayagraj, okay, in the Mahakumbh Mela, where millions of people are taking the holy dips. Okay, so let us go into the details of the bacteria. Next, so coliform bacteria. So coliform bacteria are a group of bacteria where we found in our environment. It is present in soil, it is present in the intestines of the warm-blooded animals. They commonly indicate the contamination and the sanitary quality. So their presence will tell us the contamination of water and the low levels of sanitary quality. So in the coliform bacteria, we have a separate subset of bacteria which is fecal coliform bacteria. So this is a subset of the coliform bacteria. So what are the sources of the coliform bacteria? So the sewage and the human waste discharge, which will lead to fecal coliform. Okay, and we have the animal waste and livestock and wildlife. So this will also lead to the fecal bacteria growth. And we have agriculture runoff, we have which includes manure, fertilizers, pesticides, etc. Next, leaking of the septic tanks and untreated water waste. And we have another important source, that is the contaminated food and water handling the practices. So, okay, what is the acceptable levels of the bacteria in the water according to BSI, Bureau of Indian Standards, and WHO. So, what is WHO? World Health Organization, which is the premium health organization in the world. Okay, so BIS is Bureau of Indian Standards. So, where do we listen this word generally? For the hallmarks of gold and silver, generally BIS will give the standards. Okay, so what is the acceptable range? It is the total coliform should be 0 per 100 ml. It may be fecal coliform, it should be 0 per 100 ml. Okay, so what it indicates? It indicates that the water must not be consumed when it is contaminated with the coliform bacteria. Okay, next, what are the ways of prevention? The proper sewage treatment and disposal, sanitary waste management, and we have the disinfection of drinking water, we have chlorination, we have UV treatment, we have the boiling techniques, and regular water quality monitoring by the local authorities. Okay, and public awareness and the hygiene practices. So this is the way we can prevent the formation or the growth of the coliform bacteria. Okay, so these are some important facts which are important for us in the GS3, in the pollution topic as well as in the bacteria. We have to remember these important facts. So the next important article is related to the Delhi elections. Okay, so the headline says, Rekha Gupta, a grassroots leader who has served in key organizational roles. Okay, so Shalibag MLA-elect defeated the Aam Aadmi Party's Bandana Kumari by almost 29,600 votes in the Delhi elections. Okay, so the Rekha Gupta has elected from Shalimar Bagh constituency and has a majority of almost 29,600 votes against the Bandana Kumari. She has been an active student leader through RSS and ABVP, and she has won 3 times in the municipal council elections. So her swearing in ceremony will be on Thursday at the Ramlila Maidan in the New Delhi. It should be noted that after 26 years, the BJP party came to rule in the Delhi. And the last 1 decade, it's been the Aam Aadmi Party which is ruling the NCR Delhi. So BJP has won 48 seats out of the total 70 constituencies. So these are the important things, and it should be noted that she is going to be the 4th woman who is going to rule the National Territorial Capital, Delhi. Okay, so she envisions the Vikshit Delhi as critical part of the Vikshit Bharat. Okay, so developed Delhi can only lead to a developed nation by 2047. So these are the important articles for today. Let's continue the discussion tomorrow. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe to Abhiram IAS Academy.